Hey guys, what's up? It's time for another episode of Innocent American. Today we are going to be watching a video titled American Things Europeans Find Weird. It's from the YouTube channel Infographics. This video has about 6 million views, so a lot of people have watched this. Today I'm going to watch and react to it and just try to learn what Europeans think of Americans. At least from what I've heard, they don't think too highly of us, but we will see. So.
In this episode of the Infographic Show, American Things Europeans Find Weird. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you can be part of our notification squad. We'll stay with food and restaurants for the time being. As we've discussed in other shows, not everyone in the world is so draconian about tipping. In fact, in some parts of Europe, throwing a buck on the counter after receiving a cold beer would be totally insulting. In many European countries, tipping in some situations can be seen as charity. When visiting the US, many Europeans might find it weird that a waiter or waitress keeps coming back to your table. In the States, it may be seen as just good service, but to some Europeans, it could be construed as someone getting in the way of a good meal. That meal, by the way, could be about 3 times larger than many people in Europe are used to. In general, American food portions look to some Europeans.
So yeah, on the tipping, it is a little. I have actually heard that Europe doesn't really tip very much. Over here, sometimes it is a little weird, but a lot of it is because they kind of waitresses and waiters, taxi drivers and stuff. They kind of live off tips. They don't make very much hourly, so that is why you're supposed to tip them. I kind of like to go with the rule. I only tip if they deserve it. I don't know if that's a good rule or not, but like if someone just gives me one drink, I'm not gonna tip for that. Sorry, I'm just not. But if I have a good waiter that like clears the dishes, refills, even if you don't spend a lot of time, just cleaning the table and doing some refills. Because I was once a waiter. I mean that's a huge help. It definitely makes the dinner more enjoyable. So yeah, I definitely don't have a problem with tipping. But I will say that I kind of only believe in tipping if they work for it. So I don't know if that's a really shared view or not. Probably not. I think most people tip regardless. Even at Sonic, I never understand why at the fast food restaurant Sonic people tip. All someone does is literally bring food out to you. I think that they should just be paid a higher hourly wage as opposed to being expected to be tipped, because they don't come and get in your dirty. They don't come and get rid of your trash. They don't come and really do anything. They literally just bring food out to you. A lot of them aren't even the ones taking the order. So some places I really don't understand why you tip, but I think again over here it's partly just kind of expected because we know that they don't really make a live. They go and not making a living wage. They only make like $5 an hour or something. So it's really low, but then they can make really good tips. Some people, especially high-end restaurants where they take gratuity, which is a forced tip pretty much. It's part of it can be like 25% of the overall bill. But some people can make actually really, really good money in tips. So I'm not saying do away with tipping by any means.
Like they're supposed to feed 2 people. It may also seem like an act of largesse to some Europeans when someone keeps refilling their glass of soda or cup of coffee for no extra cost. In terms of the food itself, as we noted earlier, Americans and Europeans have very different ideas about what goes with what. Pancakes for breakfast with fried chicken? Are you kidding me? Says the traveling European. And what about putting honey on bacon for breakfast? The Frenchman wanted mustard with his sliced beef and tasted something not like mustard but a sweeter version with less bite.
Okay, I will have to admit, I mean, some of that food is really good. I'm not a big fan of the chicken waffle thing in the morning, but putting the honey on bacon, that is delicious. So it's a little hit and miss on that. I know America definitely has America definitely has a reputation of sugar and everything, which is partly true. I mean, there's some truth to it. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. But I think a lot of people become more health conscious and stuff. So we'll see how the future holds out. But as of right now, yeah, we definitely eat a lot of sugar.
The Italian went to Chicago and in one restaurant ordered a pizza, only to be served what he thought looked more like a quiche or a cake. So, what about when Europeans head to the store? Again, the rather affable smile and general friendliness of staff may seem strange to someone from grumpy England, where service with a smile is certainly no guarantee. In fact, it's been remarked that American friendliness can result in some Europeans thinking something suspicious is afoot. If that European is in the store to buy a pack of cigarettes or a bottle of wine, they may be extremely surprised when they get asked for ID, as that might not not have happened to them for over a decade or two.
Yeah, it is always hilarious to me that just by smiling, people automatically. Well, I have heard of that. So people in Europe think it's kind of rude or weird when we smile. A lot of times you're actually taught you're supposed to like smile, and that's just part of customer service. So that's just something we do over here. Um, I don't have a problem with it. I enjoy it. Like it definitely like when you go in, someone like has a big smile on their face. I definitely appreciate that. So I don't know about over there.
On top of Europe mainly having laxer laws on age restrictions, IDing people is not such a big deal as it is in America. Only in July this year, Oasis frontman Liam Gallagher said he was ID'd in the US after trying to buy cigarettes. He tweeted, "I've just been told I can't buy cigs unless I got ID. I'm 40 freaking 4. Has the world gone mad?" Indeed, in his home city of Manchester, he'd probably been buying his smokes for 30 years without a problem. And then the European
One thing I've noticed about, yeah, it is a little ridiculous. They'll ID people that are like 67 years old. But for the most part, when it's obviously they're that old, all they do is ask for your birthday. They never hardly, I've never seen them ID a 60-year-old with a legit take your ID out and check. All they do is just like, okay, what's your birthday? But I mean, they definitely will ID 30. Someone that looks definitely old enough to drink or smoke, they'll still ID them at least usually up to 40. So that is a little different. I know that the UK definitely has a lot more, less strict laws on drinking. I know America keeps wanting to push it up and up. So
European looks inside his or her wallet only to see a bunch of notes that all look the same, all the time wondering how this could possibly make any sense. The good thing is, in America, you can pay with plastic just about anywhere, which is something many Europeans are still not used to. They may also be unpleasantly surprised to find out when they do buy something, taxes get added on top of the price they saw. So they try and get back to their hotel, but have to ask the way. They are told to walk 6 blocks this way and turn left. Only for some Europeans, not
on the tax thing, yeah, I don't understand why America does not include the tax in the sales. I think it has something to do with shipping and the different states tax that we have. Every state's different, so I think that's why they really can't have a just flat rate. So that it's I have heard that England is like, or the UK is like that, Europe. But it would be nice just to go in like the price be the price. You always have to add pretty much 7 to 10 cents on the dollar.
not familiar with the US, giving someone directions using blocks may seem weird. Parts of Europe were not built with city blocks in mind and just gradually spread in a way that makes it hard to find your way around. When they finally do get back, they settle down to watch some TV, only for some reason the shows are interspersed with commercials that seem to be longer than the actual minutes given to the actual content. This drives some Europeans crazy. At some point, they might come across World Wrestling Entertainment and be quite confused at how some Americans can get so worked up about what to them looks like an act with an ending already scripted. You may have to be an American to enjoy that kind of drama with such passion. Turn over to the news and
I will have to say, I don't like wrestling. I don't understand it. It's bizarre to me, so each to their own on that.
Depending on the channel, this may also look something like a drama or a soap opera to a European. They may easily believe they are watching a news satire. One of the great things in America though, for some Europeans at least, is the fact that some things are open 24/7. Can't sleep? Just go out. Shopping hours are relatively quite restrictive in many European nations, but in most places in the US or near a big city, there is always something to do or buy in the middle of the night. In Europe, the BBC reported that London, England, and 6 cities in Spain were the better 24-hour cities.
That's kind of weird. I had no idea that they didn't have 24 hours. Most small towns have their 24-hour Walmarts and gas stations. Is pretty much is all you have. Your restaurants usually stay up to open to 9 to 11. But yeah, in the cities, there's a lot open, especially big cities like Chicago and New York City and all those big cities are open. Almost everything is open 24/7. So that's interesting.
Now we'll visit the sensitive issues of religion and patriotism. World Atlas puts America at the top of the list as the most Christian nation in the world. In the US, on any given day, you might hear the word God or at least see signs pointing to where you might find him. While parts of Europe are also predominantly Christian, the omnipresence of God in the streets may seem a little overbearing to many of these nations that have forgone church duty. It's the same with flags everywhere. You won't go far in America.
Yeah, again, on the church thing, I am really surprised how many churches there are. There's probably 10 churches per small town of like 5,000 people. And then you go into the city and there's 50, 60, and they're all huge. I don't even understand why there are so many churches. So, I know America is definitely a big Christian country, but at the same time, it's just like so many denominations and different beliefs. Everyone has their own church. It can be very intimidating. Just like it's like church, church, church. So that is definitely different.
Without seeing the stars and stripes, whereas in Europe, flags are usually designated to the top of poles outside of official buildings. Seeing one planted in a garden may induce a traveling European to believe that he is at the house of a hardcore nationalist, not just someone who is proud of where he comes from. Interesting side note, a 2014 survey revealed the most patriotic country in the world was Thailand, closely followed by the USA. While it may not seem too weird for Europeans, the fact that some people in the States carry firearms might be scary. Per capita, more people in the States own guns than any other country. While most cops in Europe do carry guns, it's unusual to see a cop in England, Scotland, or Wales carrying a gun. The fact that regular Joes might be carrying a firearm seems fairly weird to many Europeans. It might not seem so strange to Serbians, who also have a high rate of guns owned per person. Size also matters to Europeans when traveling in the
So on the guns, yeah, it's America is super gun proud, so that's kind of expected. But yeah, I will say it is actually kind of weird a little bit depending on where you are. Like if you're up in the city, it is a little weird to just see someone carrying a gun. I mean, it's totally lawful; they're allowed to do that. But it definitely is. It's not commonplace. I hardly ever see anyone actually carrying a firearm. Now, I don't know the statistics, but almost everyone in America, a good majority, own a firearm. But actually carrying it openly out in public, unless you're maybe in Texas, I don't know. But from the places I've been, I hardly have ever seen just open carry everywhere. So I don't know how true that is actually. I don't know.
States, in America, everything just seems bigger, and not just the aforementioned dishes. The roads and streets seem larger for the most part, and if you don't have a car, it can seem hard to get anywhere, especially in a place like LA. The cars themselves seem a lot bigger, large enough to crush Mr. Bean in his Mini, and the people inside them also seem big on average, if not taller, then wider on average. The skyscrapers are taller, and in general, American houses statistically have a lot more space than the average European house. One survey stated that the Danish had the most living space in Europe, still much less than Americans, but much more than the Brits, that to Americans might seem their whole house is smaller than their basement. It may not be that weird, but one might ask why everything is so big in the US. As for appearance, some Europeans may find the amount of Americans that are continually decked in what looks like gym wear a bit strange, as most are not going to the gym. Other styles that are mostly an 80s thing but seem to have stayed around a little.
Again, yeah, I don't even understand that almost everyone wears gym clothes. Not for sure, but I feel like more women wear gym clothes than men. Just from my personal experience, mostly it's women that are wearing like yoga pants or tank tops and stuff. Men more wear like shorts and maybe a tank top. But I want, from my personal experience, it's more women that wear gym clothes. But I am sure that that's not a true case everywhere.
Are the big hairstyles on some older American women. Big lips and big breasts may also be a fashion weird to some Europeans, while in the USA the president still seems to sport a fake tan. On the positive side, Americans all seem to have such perfect white teeth, quite different from those Brits. This was hilariously depicted in an episode of The Simpsons in which the Big Book of British Smiles horrifically demonstrated the apparent lack of dental hygiene in the country. So, what do you Europeans out there find strange about Americans? And Americans, what do you think is weird about...
Yeah, on the teeth, I have heard that I've just heard that like a few months ago. I had no idea that they had a stereotype of that. I mean, from what I've seen, most people have pretty white, straight teeth here. So maybe that's a true stereotype. I'm not for sure. But anyway, yeah, that was it for that episode. So if you guys like it or have any comments, feedback, whatever, just like, comment, dislike, just whatever. Just give me a little bit of help on this channel. Like I said, I'm really new to YouTube. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. But yeah, just your feedback is the most important thing to me right now. I'm just doing this for fun, just trying to learn and make some reaction videos. But yeah, just give me some feedback. I really appreciate it. Thanks.